This and this. Both smell the same, but which one will give you more for less? Let's find out. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever sprayed a perfume and thought, wait, I've smelled this one before, but it's a little different? Or you have fallen hard and bought yourself that very high-end expensive perfume, and then you stumble upon something suspiciously similar. After that, you start to think, oh, this new one, it lasts longer. It's cheap as well. But then you start convincing yourself, no. The original one that you have is the better one because it's the original and because you have it. But there is this voice deep within you saying, no, the new one is actually better value for money. Let's be real, guys. We have all been there, isn't it? They are so close, but one always has that something extra. Maybe it's the dry down, the sillage, maybe it's longer lasting, or just the way it makes you feel. So today we will see these 5 sets of perfumes that smell almost alike and see which one gives you more bang for your buck. Now, I'm not talking about the so-called like-to-like dupes. No, absolutely not. I'm talking of these decent niche houses and their fragrances that seem to be inspired from the famous original ones. To the untrained nose, there is hardly any difference between the two. So for them, I guess the cost would be a major factor. But for those of us who are really into the niche fragrances, who know the nose well, for them, they will be able to appreciate the subtle differences. Perhaps for them, what the fragrance makes them feel would be an important factor in addition to the cost. At the end of the day, we want to smell amazing without emptying our pockets, isn't it? So folks, without any further ado, let's get into it. Kicking off today's video is by comparing Oud Wood from Tom Ford and Carved Oud from Thameen. This scent profile is clearly one of my all-time favorites. The keynotes in this profile are rich exotic woods with very light oud mixed with this smooth cardamom, pepper, vanilla, sandalwood and some ambery accords, especially at the dry down. This is a very woody scent, as the name would suggest. But in the beginning, along with that woodiness, you have this smooth cardamom mixed with some amount of pepper. And as the scent unfolds, you will get the mix of this oud and this creamy sandalwood, making this a very nice experience. And by dry down, there is vanilla and ambery accords in addition to the background of that woodiness which was there right from the beginning. I recommend this scent profile to anyone who wants to start getting into the oud genre. It's a fantastic entry-level oud scent. Not very animalic, not into your face oud, just right. It is a very versatile scent and in my opinion this is best suited for office settings. Oud Wood, fabulous, great. But issue I have with this one is very poor longevity, especially at this price point. 5 hours in and it's completely gone, even from my clothes. And another problem that I have is I just love the scent. It just makes me feel really good about myself. On the other hand, Carved Oud, in simple terms, it is Oud Wood on steroids. It's like the extrait version of the Oud Wood. Much more rich, complex, dense and longer lasting. Plus, it's quite cheaper than Oud Wood. Oud Wood costs about £160 for 50 ml on the discounters, but Carved Oud costs only about £100 to £110 for 50 ml on discounters. I cannot justify the price to performance ratio of Oud Wood, but I just love the scent. I get all of that from Carved Oud. Projection on both of them is not huge necessarily, but it is just enough for others to notice it, especially with the Carved Oud. Both of them will form a very good scent bubble around you, and obviously the Carved Oud gives a much more better performance. So out of these two, my choice is very clear. Carved Oud from Thameen. It's richer, denser, long-lasting and cheaper. So the bang for your buck here, Carved Oud from Thameen. The next set is Layton by Parfums de Marly and Exquisite Essence by the House of Ajmal. Ajmal is one of the renowned Middle Eastern perfume houses, and they have a huge collection of their own lineups, but also their own takes on some of the most famous and well-renowned perfumes. This one is certainly taking inspiration from Layton. The scent profile here we are talking is a very fresh, aromatic, spicy, woody vanilla scent that opens with apple and lavender with some florals in the background. All of this settles on a very woody base mixed with vanilla, cardamom, pepper and patchouli. If you look at the notes in these two perfumes, they are actually exactly the same. However, for Exquisite Essence, I find it a little more spicier, but a much more better projecting and long-lasting fragrance compared to Layton. Period. Layton gives me about 8 to 9 hours maximum, but this stuff gives me a performance of easily about 10 to 12 hours with a much better projection and sillage compared to Layton. On the cost side as well, Layton costs about £180 for 75 ml on discounters, but Exquisite Essence, it retails only at £60. To me, Exquisite Essence gives a much more better experience compared to Layton. Especially for this price point, you have the same kind of scent, but a much better performance. Therefore, the choice for me here is clear. It is Exquisite Essence by Ajmal. So if you like Layton, but you don't want to spend that much money, I think Exquisite Essence is your go-to. Same scent, maybe a little more spicier, but a much more better performing scent. Period. The next set is Virgin Island Water from Creed and Malibu by Simone and Andreoli. Creed does not need any introduction. Most of us know about this French niche house thanks to its most popular fragrance, Aventus. I have a decant of Virgin Island Water. Actually, I was on a lookout for a full bottle on the discounters, but someone introduced me to Malibu from Simone and Andreoli, which is, believe me, wonderful. Simone Andreoli is a perfumer who started his own independent niche perfume house from Italy. There are about 27 perfumes in his lineup, and I could try only one of them, and I loved it. If you look at the notes, they are so similar. Coconut, lime, sugar, rum, sandalwood. That's why they smell very similar to each other. The scent profile here we are talking is a very citrusy, sweet, coconutty, slightly boozy scent. Perfect for summer weather or warmer temperatures. You get this tropical island summer beach vibe with this one. Imagine bright lemony citruses and coconut by the palm trees on a beach. That is how I feel when I use this fragrance. Dry down on both of them is exactly the same. Coconutty, woody and very slightly boozy. Difference here is in the opening. The Virgin Island Water is more floral, airy and less sweet, and it has the slightly green and fresh accord. But Malibu, it literally opens like a lemon candy, but then quickly goes into this Virgin Island Water mode. And after that, there's hardly any difference between the two, believe me. Virgin Island Water came out in 2007. It's been there for quite some time. But this guy came in 2018. So clearly there is some inspiration here. Cost-wise, Virgin Island Water costs about $165 for a 50 ml bottle on discounters. But Malibu, it costed me only £120 for 100 ml. And this guy lasts for about 7 to 8 hours, whereas Virgin Island Water, it fades away within 5 hours. That's one problem I have with the House of Creed. On my skin, they don't last long. Even though I love Virgin Island Water, no doubt about it, but I cannot justify its price point for the performance it gives. That's why I went ahead and got a full bottle of this. To me, the clear winner here is Malibu. It's much more better value for your money. A fresh beach scent that won't break your bank. Malibu by Simone and Andreoli. Moving on to the next set is Ganymede from Marc-Antoine Bois and Bois Imperial from Essential Parfums. The general scent profile here is very airy, woody, spicy scent with somewhat minerally green character to it. I'm discussing both of them here, but they are not exactly the twin sibling. It's more like elder-younger brother combo. The elder one being Ganymede, because it is much more complex, rich, and longer lasting fragrance. Like the others on this list, the dry down here is exactly the same, which is this spicy, woody, and then earthy scent. The difference is that Ganymede opening is minerally, with slight floral touch to it, and it has some leather nuances, making it a very dense and a complex fragrance. On the other hand, Bois Imperial is a lighter and less complex fragrance. Bois Imperial takes a relatively straight routes from beginning to its dry down, but Ganymede will take you through this wonderful ride through its notes. Ganymede came out in 2019 from the house of another perfumer, Marc-Antoine Barrois, and Bois Imperial came out in 2020 from the house of Essential Parfums. Even though both of these fragrances are from different niche houses, but they share a same master perfumer, Quentin Biche. Yes, both of them are by Quentin Biche. You can easily make out that Biche DNA from these fragrances. Ganymede is a powerhouse. It lasts over 18 hours, but Bois Imperial, it lasts about 8 to 9 hours. Projection of Ganymede is massive. It will announce your presence before even you have entered the room. But Bois Imperial is not so hugely projecting fragrance. Ganymede goes for about £180 for 100 ml, but Bois Imperial you would get about £80 for 100 ml. So it means this is less than half the price of Ganymede. And if you look at the refillable bottle, it goes for £140 for 150 ml. For Ganymede, you pay a higher price for the same master perfumer if you want a complex and a rich fragrance. And Bois Imperial is relatively a less complex and a straight fragrance from the same master perfumer. From out of the two, on the contrary, I choose Ganymede over Bois Imperial, just for the fact that Ganymede gives me a much more richer, complex, and a wonderful experience compared to Bois Imperial. But I'm not taking anything away from Bois Imperial, clearly. This is a very good scent, and that's why I own both. But out of the two, if I have to choose one, it will be Ganymede. But that's just me. A better performing, more complex, and a rich fragrance from a master perfumer. Ganymede. The last set on today's video is MFK's Grand Soir and Material by Amouage. This one is a little bit difficult. It's not as straightforward. Like Virgin Island water, I don't own a full bottle of Grand Soir, but this has been on my radar and will be on my radar. It is so difficult to find a full bottle of MFKs on the discounters. But this is my second sample. And as I said, I will keep this on my radar until I find one. But I own a full bottle of Material from Amouage. The profile here we are talking is this warm, ambery, resinous vanilla scent. Fantastic. Material came out in 2021 and is by the famous French perfumer Cécile Jaraquian. She has composed quite a few powerhouses in the past, like Vanilla Adesia for Lactamus London and the famous Nishanes Ani and Ani X, to name a few. Whereas Grand Soir, it had come out in 2016 and is by the man himself, Francis Kurkdjian. I would not say that the Material is 100% dupe of Grand Soir, but if you look at the dry down, they smell similar to each other. And if you look at the dominant notes, they do have similarities. Benzoin, tonka bean, vanilla, labdanum, all of them are dominant in both of these perfumes. And I believe that it's the mix of this benzoin with vanilla and labdanum that gives the same dry down in both of them, which is this beautiful, warm, vanilla, ambery, woody scent that is just simply wow, and it seems to just linger on and on. As I said, the dry down is quite similar, but the difference is in the starting. Material is earthy, incensey, whereas Grand Soir is more airy and resinous. Of the two, taking nothing away from Grand Soir, Material is much more complex, deep, and rich. Performance-wise, projection and sillage on both of them is very impressive, But for longevity, on my skin, Grand Soir stays about 8 to 10 hours, but material easily goes above 15 hours. Cost-wise as well, as I said, MFK is very hard to find on the discounters, so most of us would get this for about £185 for a 70 ml, but material on discounters you can get it for £175 for a 100 ml. To me, journey is as important as the destination, and between these two, material takes me through a much more better and a scenic route compared to Grand Soir. Plus, material also is working out better for my pocket. Plus, it's longer lasting. So, it's all checks here. For me, the winner is material. This one offers a much better value for money. People who know and love Grand Soir should also try material. I'm very positive that they will love material as well. So, of the two, my pick would be material from Amouage. There you are, my fragrance lovers. This was my take on these, as I put it, sibling fragrances. But hey, that's my take. Your choices may be different. After all, perfumes are subjective, isn't it? They are personal. Maybe your skin chemistry makes you love the choices that I did not make. And that is absolutely fine. So wear what you feel is right for you. But do tell me, which one did you pick? Drop your choice in the comment section below. Hope you liked this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Moving forward, I may not be as regular with my video content because of the change in my workplace, but I promise to make videos and put it out to all of you as and when I can. So until the next video, keep smelling amazing, guys. Bye-bye.